He don't need to be laying no mental hospital. He need to go to prison, man. Come on, sir.
Number 7. Alexandria Thomas and her mother broke down during a hearing at the Palm Beach County Jail in Florida. The 26-year-old woman was accused of a violent domestic dispute, specifically stabbing her boyfriend with a knife outside a public supermarket in Palm Beach. She was standing before a judge, likely expecting to hear about bail, but was instead told that her boyfriend was not just injured, but fighting for his life in a medically induced coma. The gravity of the situation crashes down on her in an instant. The woman soon understood how serious the charges against her are, and this was her reaction. Her composure shatters, replaced by audible sobs as she struggles to process the news. Then, this is her mother's reaction. The anguish is clearly a shared family trauma. As you can see outside of the courtroom, she was also very emotional, her cries echoing her daughter's despair, a heartbreaking scene of a family unraveling under the weight of a terrible accusation. Number 6. KY. Andrea's reaction to her sentencing went so viral that we couldn't not discuss it in this video. Her case is a cautionary tale of youthful crime with devastating consequences. The then teenager received 20 years for her role in a violent carjacking. The crime was part of an elaborate dating app plot where she and her accomplices lured a man with the promise of a date, only to rob him at gunpoint, a scheme that ended in the shooting of another teenager. At the time, KY Andrea was 18, and when she was read her 20-year sentence, this is what happened first. So that is her mother screaming and crying and losing it. The piercing wail cuts through the courtroom's decorum, a raw expression of a parent's grief. I feel like her mum really set her off, as after her outburst, this was KY Andrea's response. Number 5. Mitchell Blair. 36-year-old Mitchell Blair was a mother of 4 from Detroit who committed one of the most horrific acts of filicide imaginable. She killed 2 of her children, 9-year-old Stephen Barry and 13-year-old Stoney Blair. She then put their bodies in a freezer, where they remained for years until being discovered during an eviction. The woman was sentenced to life in jail without parole, meaning that she will never be released. Throughout her much-publicized trial, Mitchell showed a shocking lack of remorse, often breaking down with defiant outbursts. One example is right here. This came during a custody hearing for her 2 surviving children. Number 4. Kayla Ray Norton. So, this wasn't a life sentence, but it was a long sentence and a pretty fierce reaction. White supremacists Kayla Ray Norton and Jose Torres Gate crashed a black 8-year-old's birthday party with guns and a Confederate flag in Douglasville, Georgia, in July 2015. The group, part of an organization called Respect the Flag, terrorized the family with death threats. The pair were just a small part of the larger group and repeatedly used the N-word at the children. This racially motivated outburst came less than a month after a fellow supremacist, Dylan Roof, killed 9 African Americans in a church. We can all agree this was awful behavior from Kayla, and this was her reaction to her 6-year sentence. Number 3, we have a Vegas lady who is not done talking. So okay, I know that this isn't a life sentence or anything, but the way in which she freaks out rivals a lot of the freakouts on this list for sheer theatricality. I basically just found this footage by Googling. It seems like this woman has done something dubious in Las Vegas, and she is in court hearing about her crime, and the fact that she will likely go to jail. She tries to explain herself, interrupting the judge repeatedly, but the judge is like, "Quiet while I tell you your sentence." At number 2. Poor Margaret Pole was arrested by King Henry VIII's henchmen, and brought for execution at the Tower of London without trial. As the last of the Plantagenet dynasty, she was a political threat. On the 27th of May, a summer's morning, the 67-year-old Lady Margaret proclaimed that she was no traitor and was not going to lay her head upon the execution block. If the executioner wanted to decapitate her, he would have to do it where she stood. The inexperienced executioner then missed her neck, gashing her shoulder, and she ran around the scaffold screaming, scratching and hissing as she literally spat blood at those who wrongly accused her. It was a scene of pure butchery and terror. Eventually, after 11 blows, she was killed, but it is said that her ghost still haunts the Tower of London, forever reenacting her final defiant moments. Number 1. Dallas woman, Mother Elizabeth Escalona, committed unspeakable acts of abuse against her 2-year-old daughter, beating her into a coma and then gluing her hands to the wall. She was soon pictured in court, facing the consequences. the pictures of the 2-year-old toddler's injuries, which included bleeding in her brain and skin torn from her hands, were so graphic they left the courtroom stunned. The little girl was left near death following her mother's savagery. The 23-year-old woman was sentenced to 99 years in jail, longer than usual life terms, a sentence reflecting the judge's horror at the crime. When she has read the sentence, her reaction is strong. We can't see her face, but her body doubles over in shock. She cries. If you want part 2 of the stories behind the vaults, subscribe and turn on notifications.